Welcome. Breaking news before we get to what I want to talk about. Well, first, I want to say, obviously, I slowed down. The Eagles lost. We were doing a lot of Eagles stuff. Now we've got the Phillies coming up, but we also are ramping up with Eagles stuff in the offseason. So I'm going to get back to start putting out regular videos. Hopefully, you all stick around and check those out. But before I even get into this, you've got to hear this Emmanuel Acho nonsense about Jalen Hurts. But first, because this is breaking news, as you can probably see here, we traded for veteran QB Andy Dalton. Now our QB room looks like this: Jalen Hurts, Tanner McKee, Andy Dalton. Now, this could be, hey, we solidified the QB room. We've got depth. We've got a talented vet who can fill in. It also could be, if the right deal comes along, maybe we trade Tanner McKee. Not because he's not talented or we don't want him, but I don't think that we're going to want to pay him what he would demand as a backup QB when his contract is up. So it's kind of like, well, let's get something for before he leaves, because with this how important this position is, what he has done in limited time. There's going to be a team out there that is going to be willing to pay him starter money and give him a shot at being a starting quarterback. So anyway, I just wanted to put this out there. I believe we only gave up a seventh rounder. I think it was 2026. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but this obviously helps solidify the QB room. It frees up, if there is an offer for Tanner McKee that Howie thinks it's worth pulling the trigger. It doesn't leave us hanging in terms of a backup, because that's hugely important in the NFL. But this is a solid QB room if it stays like this. So the Eagles have been making some offseason moves. I'm going to start getting into that as well. But I had to start out with everything we dealt with last year with the Jalen Hurts nonsense. And by the way, it doesn't stop. Like in the comments, if we go down here, right? Eagles finally have a real QB who can actually throw the ball. Hurts really the worst one here. Outside of Hurts, this room is loaded. Blah blah blah. Right? All this absolute nonsense. It's just like, but so listen to this. This is about a minute and a half long. And this is for those who don't know, I didn't get a chance to do a video, but we signed Hollywood Brown as a wide receiver 3, which I think, for being number 3, for me, that is an absolutely solid pick. Again, Devontae Smith, Hollywood Brown, AJ Brown, right? I think that is going to be that's a solid wide receiver room as well, right? So he is talking to those guys about signing with the Eagles, and he gets asked about, well, he talks about Jalen Hurts. He gets asked about Jalen and says some things, and then you pay attention. You've got to listen to Emmanuel Acho. Also, pay attention to his face initially when Hollywood Brown starts talking about Jalen Hurts and praising him. This is wild.
He's one of the top vertical passers in the league. Like as far as his deep ball is great.
You talking about Jalen Hurts still or Patrick Mahomes?
What is your impression of Jalen Hurts as a quarterback?
Listen to this. So listen to this, right? Unfortunately, they played the money clip right there at the beginning. But as you could hear, he's asking him specifically about Jalen Hurts. What do you think about Jalen Hurts? Kind of a loaded question to ask a wide receiver who just signed with the team. I don't know if you signed with them if you don't think the quarterback's any good.
What is your impression of Jalen Hurts as a quarterback?
I always been a fan of Jalen Hurts. From even his story back at Alabama. I mean, I took the long road to where I got, so I always root for guys that went on that journey, you know. And when he came to Oklahoma was when I was coming into the league, and I was considering staying in school to play with him. When he got into the league and just seeing the adversity he'd been through and being across that sideline Super Bowl and seeing how calm, collected, dialed in he was in the throws he was making, you get back to home and you get on the TV and you see people saying what he can't do. And it's like, I mean, everybody get on TV, everybody got their opinion. That's why we love this game. Yep. You know, that's why we love this sport, because anybody can chime in. You know, you can't be mad at somebody, you know, speaking their opinion. But I personally feel like he's one of the top vertical passers in the league. Like, as far as his deep ball is great.
You talking about Jalen Hurts still or Patrick Mahomes?
He's talking about Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
I don't hate that take. He hit deep balls, though.
Okay. I just had to clarify.
He hit deep balls. Yo, this is what I deal with.
Respectfully, what an absolute immature, childish little clown. He asked about Jalen Hurts. Patrick Mahomes was not mentioned. There was no inference in any way, shape, or form in this conversation in Hollywood's answer. There is zero reason than to act like a childish little brat for him to be like, "Oh, I just need to clarify Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes." Patrick Mahomes was not in the conversation. All of this was clearly about Jalen Hurts. You are an unprofessional clown to follow up with that ridiculously stupid question. This is the problem with a lot of athletes. I think we all know this. They have the yes men. They all get what they want growing up in high school and this and that, and they never grow up. So many of them never grow up. Obviously, Emmanuel Acho never grew up. He has a deep-seated hatred of Jalen Hurts for whatever reason, jealousy. I don't know what it is, but he's always talking about him in this manner, and it's brace yourselves, Philly. We're gonna have another great run and deal with this kind of nonsense. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that attention because I thought it was kind of funny. I wanted to talk about it. I mean, it's not end of the world stuff. But anyway, I also want to welcome Hollywood to the team. I think that's a solid wide receiver three to add to this team. Devontae, AJ, Hollywood. That's a solid three. Dallas Goddard re-signing. I mean, things as much as it sucked to lose some of the guys we lost in free agency, things have been shaping up, and there's some other stuff I want to talk about in other videos. But I just thought I had to, with everything that went on with Jalen, I just figured this was one way to start to get back into the videos for the Philadelphia Eagles. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate it as always. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you all later.